While keeping watch on all of this for us this Sunday afternoon is eNCA reporter Michael Appel. He's here on set with me right now. So, Michael, a little more detail beginning to emerge as far as who was on this taxi. We know they were returning at least from the funeral of one of their colleagues. Tell us more about what we've learned in the last few hours.
So, confirmation that there were 17 people traveling on that taxi. Initial reports, 11 dead, 4 critically injured. So where there are only 15, the numbers were a bit shaky, but police have confirmed that there were 17 people on that taxi traveling back to Gauteng from KwaZulu-Natal, where they attended the funeral of a Mr. Mtembu. He's a taxi owner who was shot dead in Tembisa last week. He was one of 3 people, I must reiterate, one of 3 people shot dead in Tembisa last week in taxi violence there. So his colleagues seemingly were on their way back from his funeral when they were ambushed. And it's very interesting, our colleague who's there, Sipho Mandla at the moment, who's at the scene of this mass shooting, speaking to the transport MEC, who said that one cannot dispute that the taxi industry coexists with the hitman industry. I don't know what is scary about that sentence, that you have 11 people being gunned down, or that we have a government official saying that there is a hitman industry in South Africa.
You take that then, and then you compare it to the statement from the National Police Commissioner, KZN, also out in the last hour. His office steering clear of declaring this an investigation into an incident of taxi-related violence.
Yeah.
So how then are they going to proceed with their work in the 72 hours that the Commissioner has given for this team to investigate what's gone on here?
Yeah, the 72-hour window is what Becky Cele, the police minister, has brought in when he came in a couple of months back. And this is to mobilize as many of the police's resources as possible to go after these guys. If you look at some of the visuals earlier, I could count on the front of the taxi 50 bullet holes, in excess of 50 bullet holes. And then on the side of the taxi, I did post those pictures on Twitter. It's completely destroyed. The windows almost don't exist. It's been peppered with so many gunshots that it's a miracle that 2 people managed to emerge unscathed. But the police have got a taxi violence unit in KwaZulu-Natal that's going to look into this. The special task force, the DPCI, the Hawks are going to look into this. Crime intelligence is now, after the fact, going to go and see if they can track these guys down. But a lot of people saying already crime intelligence needs to be there before to stop this from happening. But that task team will have their hands full now as a mass shooting of this kind really gets the wheels of the police getting going.
And the other worry, having observed or covered stories about taxi violence in this country, is that often an incident such as the one that we saw last night in KZN is followed by retaliatory action. So police would also have to have their hands full then, trying to make sure that an area like Ivory Park, where we've had alleged taxi-related killings before, does not then witness a further bloodbath in the coming days, in the coming months.
Yeah, that's right. I spoke to an official from the Ivory Park Taxi Association, and I asked them if they have attacks like this on a regular basis, and he said no, just once or twice a year. But the facts speak for themselves. You have 3 people being shot dead in Tembisa last week. If you just do a simple Google search, you'll find that in late May there was another taxi boss who was shot 10 times in the upper chest, another clear hit. So it's an industry that is really grappling with this. And as we heard from the MEC, hitmen involved, the 2 coexisting in South Africa.
All right, eNCA reporter Michael Appel there, keeping watch on those developments after that shooting incident in KZN. We know over 10 people killed there. There were members of a taxi association returning from the funeral of one of their own who was also